Warning, this video spoils the entirety of the chapters covered here within. If you wish to experience them without being spoiled, turn back now. Wake up, babe! New Chainsaw Man chapter dropped. And holy shit. So, I should talk about it right now because, yes, there was no Chainsaw chapter last week because Fujimoto was taking a break, which is something that Shonen Plus lets you do. I mean, Shonen Jump does too, so it's not a big thing, but apparently Shonen Plus gives their mangakas more freedom with their breaks, so I personally can see the series going like bi-weekly. You get a chapter 1 week, break next, chapter break, chapter break, chapter break. Because, spoiler alert for this chapter, holy shit, the art is fucking amazing. Can't show a lot of it because of copyright. And I don't need a strike. But, Jesus Christ, this chapter. This will also be the start of my, I'm going to stop with the walkthroughs of the chapters. Because at first I thought that was how it had to happen. But now I realize I can kind of just take an overview and talk about it in retrospect. Which will let me do more of what I want to do with these. Which is just kind of talk about the chapter, the series going forward, all that stuff. So, this was Chainsaw Man, chapter, I think, 1008? No, it's not 1008, I think it's 1005. I'm gonna check real quick. Because I do, so, what I'm gonna do, what I think I'm gonna do, at least for the series, is have the chapter up so I don't forget anything major, but I don't want to fall back onto just walkthroughs. Because those, while they did give a pretty good, concise, quote-unquote, concise telling of the chapter, it just kind of took me, it made me think about things in the chapter that I didn't really want to think about. Like, I don't want to think about one panel of dialogue an equal amount of time that I am, like, something massive that happened. So, I'm going to try to kind of be more free with how I talk about my reviews. Because, yes, the overview and walkthrough does have some merit to it, but personally, I want to do it this way, which is me just sitting down and talking about it. Also, I was wrong. It's chapter 102. I was significantly off. So, this chapter is called Save the Cat. And this, I'll go through what happens in the chapter. So it picks up immediately after the last chapter ended, which is with Asa and the girl, who I'm forgetting her name. Yuko. Okay. It immediately picks up with Asa and Yuko running from the Bat Devil that showed up at the end of last chapter. And we find out last chapter that the War Devil cannot control Asa's body when she is when she's afraid. So she instructed Asa to run away, but slowly, because any quick movement will alert the devil. And this chapter opens up with the two running away and the Bat Devil giving chase. And we see a lady just kind of coming out of her apartment, just living her life. And then the Bat Devil just completely wrecks shit, sends Asa and Yuko flying. Yuko falls, hits her head, but is otherwise okay. Yuko's not so good. She went down and took a piece of rebar to the leg. And then we get War Devil telling Asa, hey, you gotta kill her. Like, you got to. She's nothing but a liability now that she's injured. She can't even run, so why not? But then we find out something very interesting about Asa as a character. Something that we probably could have put together through hints, but now we have cold hard confirmation since Asa and Yoru are the same character. Asa did not feel bad for killing Bucky. Asa felt bad that she was seen killing Bucky. And that really shows her mentality. She's okay with murder as long as no one is there to blame her for it. Which is, how most murderers probably feel. So yeah. And after that, Yoru, like I said, instructs her to kill Yuko, and she thinks about it for a little bit, and even though Yuko can't run, even though Asa would be slowed down if she did carry her, Bat Devil's gonna kill them both no matter what. Asa picks her up and runs with her. Protects her after thinking about all their memories together and all that. And so she runs away. And the Bat Devil is bearing down on her. But then we get a very... It's nothing huge, like nothing major. But we get a little character piece, I guess. Which is... Or like a character quirk. Asa always trips when things get serious. When she shouldn't trip. That means with what happened with Bucky, she tripped when she probably shouldn't have. We're shown that she tripped during a birthday when she was holding the cake and the cake fell. She trips during a baton race in school when she has the baton. But most importantly, and most character defining, she tripped when a devil was attacking her family. Long and the short of it, she sees a cat. She goes to protect the cat. She trips after saving the cat. And while getting up, a car's about to crush her. So her mom pushes her out of the way, and the car hits her. And kills the mother. And after all that devil stuff is dealt with, an old lady sees that the cat is okay, and it's her cat. And only has one panel of worrying about Asa, in which she says, "You all right, dear? Poor thing, it must have been awful." Which is the worst thing you can really say, is just like, oh, that must have sucked, bro. Especially after, like, her mother just died. So this is the devil incident in question, where Asa's mother died. We can be led to believe that either she did not have a rest of a family, or the rest of the family died in the same devil attack, and her tripping was a direct result of her mother dying, or directly resulted in her mother dying, but no one else was there at the time. And Asa has a scene with Yuko, which is technically a flashback, but it's what I believe was in the walking or running shoeless chapter. And Yuko gets the quote, and this is something that I'm actually going to quote: "Even if my actions turn out to be a mistake, if my heart was in the right place, that's all that matters to me." And Asa completely mirrors this, thinking this is exactly how she wants to live. Yeah, sure, what she did made her mom die, and even with Bucky, her heart was in the right place, and that's what matters. She did not intend for the side effects to happen. She didn't intend for Bucky to die. She didn't intend for her mother to die, but it happened, even though she was trying her best with good intentions at heart. And back to present, she's running away with Yuko in her arms, and the Bat Devil is bearing down on her, mouth literally right on her, and then something collides with the Bat Devil. And that is a big colossal devil, in which I'm not even gonna, try to make it sound cool, because I didn't know if this chapter was gonna give us a name for it, or just leave it unnamed. I was gonna name it, the Colossal Devil, the Shell Devil, something like that, because I didn't know exactly what it was. Nah, this bitch is the Cockroach Devil. And it's so massive. And this is the return of Denji. He's just slaughtering this thing. And it slams into the Bat Devil, either killing it or just straight up taking it out of commission, one of the two. And then we get to see that the Cockroach Devil is being completely ripped apart by Denji. And we get some of that good old-fashioned Fujimoto gore, where Denji is, inside of the devil with his chainsaws, the intestines and shit on him. And he just keeps rampaging through this thing. And their battle is very Dragon Ball style, I'll say. Very big disaster, big collisions, lots of damage. And we get the question from the Cockroach Devil, Chainsaw Man, why are you fighting us and siding with humans? And then, in the Green Goblin mode of the villainy here, he literally gives Denji that die the woman you love, or suffer the little children example from the first Spider-Man movie. But instead, it's not with anyone that he knows. It's with a single high schooler with a promising future, or a car full of geezers, 5 of them. And Denji just acts as he is known to do. He just attacks without thinking, or it's left ambiguous as to actually if he's actually thinking about it. Well, he is technically, but we'll get into that. But he slices off the devil's hands and then just like cuts its head in half, which is the panel that's on screen. And we see that the teenager, the high schoolers fell, and the car full of old people also fell and got lit on fire, or like ignited and exploded. And we're shown, sorry about that. And we're shown that the devil is dead, slumped next to a building after Denji cut its head in half. And we see a little cat that's trying to climb up to the roof, but Denji picks it up with the very Denji line of saying, "There was a cat too, dude." And then we get a television report, which is forgetting about the fact that people died, that there was an ultimatum that the devil gave him, and Denji let them all die. It is simply being summed up as Chainsaw Man saved a cat from the cockroach devil. So I think this is a very good show of what Denji is as a hero, or as whatever he is right now in the series, this like vigilante devil slayer. This is showing in my opinion, this is a very good showing of what he is. He kills because he can. He has the power to kill, so he does. But he also doesn't weigh morals of like, oh, well, one person with a longer future than 5 people with shorter futures, which one do I save? Nah, he prioritizes what he wants to. He wanted to save the cat, so he saved the cat. And this is not at all my area of expertise, but I'm going to try to delve into it because I think I have a good sum of it. In literature and when writing a hero, there's something called a save the cat moment, in which your hero, your protagonist, whoever you are writing for the audience to like, has to do something that everyone can agree is good. Most normally, it's a save the cat moment, in which Mr. Incredible saves a cat out of a tree. There's a video that delves into John Wick and why it's such a good movie and why John is such a good villain, even though he's the main character. That goes into that in way more detail, but that's the basic summary of if you're writing a character that you want the audience to like, you need to give them some big save the cat moment where they do something completely positive with no detractors at all. Sure, dog people will say, would he have saved a dog? It's a cat. I don't care about cats. But you can still recognize the fact that he saved something that couldn't protect itself, or that was trying to protect itself but couldn't quite do that. So I don't know if this is Fujimoto trying to show us, like, this is what the people of Japan, or just namely possibly the world, see Denji as this, like, all good protector of mankind, in which he'll save a cat from a devil. And it's something that really doesn't have that big of a impact, but it shows his goodness. And like, this is also kind of, in my opinion, funny, because Makima's whole thing was dogs, and Denji saves a cat. So I don't know if that's anything, or if I'm just delving too much into it. Probably just delving too much into it. But this also shows, during Asa's flashback, we are shown that she saved a cat, but that resulted in the death of her mother. So now, with Denji seemingly effortlessly killing this devil to save a cat, we're shown the difference. Sure, this was an Asa before she made the deal with the War Devil, before she had the power to do anything. But this was still Asa trying to save a life, and it cost another, more important to her life. Sure, she saved a cat that was important to an old lady, but she let her own mother die. Versus Denji, who just straight up murdered a devil and saved a cat while letting 6 people in total die. And the way that I found out that this chapter came out was I was scrolling on Twitter, because I forgot that Chainsaw chapters come out early compared to One Piece. Was somebody complaining about, oh, Denji let all the humans die, and he acted like an idiot and he saved a cat instead of humans. And basically just ripping apart Denji's reaction to the devil's ultimatum. But in another tweet I saw, which I'm just gonna parrot here because I can, and I agree with it. Denji acting this quickly, while it was probably completely accidental, probably saved more lives in this act than were in risk during the ultimatum. So in the ultimatum, there were 6 lives in danger, the 1 high schooler and the 5 old people. If Denji had saved, say, the 5 old people, let the 1 kid die, because numbers, it's basically the trolley problem, then in the time that he was saving that kid, or saving the old people, whatever, the devil could have killed 10 times as many if he lands on a populated building or he does something to any amount of people more than that car. So Denji killing this devil acts as an accidental best case scenario, in my opinion. He saves the most amount of lives he can by preventing the devil from controlling him, which is, this is me getting way into it, but I don't care because it's my video, whatever. This devil was offering Denji a deal, which is the whole thing with Chainsaw Man. You make a deal with a devil to get the power, whatever. But this devil was offering him an ultimatum, and it was trying to control his actions by basically telling him, you can only do option A or option B, which one's it gonna be? And Denji chose option C, cut the motherfucker with a chainsaw, which is a very Denji thing to do. But this could, again, this is gonna get really deep, be him showing that he will not be controlled anymore. We dealt with Makima, who was his biggest issue in the last part, that all she wanted to do was control him, have the power of the Chainsaw Devil to herself. But this is his act of, you're not going to control me. No devil's going to, whatever. Again. Probably looking too much into it, delving into details that shouldn't be delved into, whatever. But that's been this chapter of Chainsaw Man, broken down, discussed. Theory-wise, because I always do these with Chainsaw Man chapters, I did predict that Denji was going to come in this chapter, just kind of because it was natural. But I was wrong in assuming that he was going to save Asa and Yuko. I was wrong in assuming that he was responding to the Bat Devil. He was, in fact, responding to the Cockroach Devil. That's even if the tease at the end of part 1 was this devil. It's heavily questionable. It could have been something completely different. Like, that could have been way before. But the fact that the TV programming is showing that Chainsaw Man is acting in yet another heroic act makes me think that this is, like, a few weeks into Chainsaw Man being, like, a public hero after Makima. Which I'm going to start referring to as PM, post-Makima, because that just kind of helps. So I think that the tease of the end of part 1 was maybe, like, a week into PM, and then this is probably a significant chunk farther in, so like 4 weeks, a month and a half maybe. But very possibly this could be the tease that we got at the end of part 1. I have no idea. I've just been kind of running with that theory because I liked it. I still do. It's really cool. But this is really weird because, like, now Asa kind of owes her life to Denji, the Chainsaw Man, when her entire quest was to kill the Chainsaw Man. So it's going to be very interesting as to how this develops from here on out. My opinion, it'll be interesting. I think that the high school dynamic of Denji going to the same school as her will probably play into a large part. I have absolutely no doubt that Fujimoto is going to write a bizarre-ass story that absolutely none of us can anticipate, because that's what he's been doing for as long as he's been writing Chainsaw Man, or as long as he's been writing manga in general. Because I read a little bit of Fire Punch, like a few chapters, and it was kind of predictable. Like, you knew what the main character was going to do. But, like, Goodbye Eri was completely unpredictable. You didn't know what the fuck was happening. You didn't expect anything that happened. So I think Fujimoto is really flexing his out-of-the-box, quote-unquote, which is a terrible thing that you should never say in an interview. He's really flexing his out-of-the-box writing skill, where he doesn't really need to leave any hints as to what he's going to do next. He acts on impulse, is what I'm trying to say. Maybe he has this all planned out. But also an interesting note, during the final strike against the Cockroach Devil, the panel that's up, Denji uses leg chainsaws, or a single one. I have no idea. I think 2. Yeah, he uses 2 because there's one second. Let me not break the video real quick. He uses one up here as well. So he uses leg chainsaws as opposed to his normal arm chainsaws. I don't know why, but that's just kind of interesting because the entire time that we've been reading, like, yeah, we knew he can create chainsaws out of other parts of his body. I think that was originally shown during the Katana Man fight. Like, that was the original, oh shit, he can make them out of any part of his body. But just an interesting thing is that he uses them in his legs, not his arms. Even though I think arms could have probably been a more controllable strike and even possibly a cooler pose. We could have gotten a panel instead of Denji in this not weird, but not Denji position where it's his legs being the main focus of his weaponry. It could have been a very Fujimoto panel to bring Denji back into view with the arm chainsaws. Also, I'd like to bring up the fact that in Denji's first panel in this part, in this chapter even, he's really small in comparison to the Cockroach Devil. And then a few panels later, you get, it's a full page, you get this like horror manga almost spread, full page, of Denji inside of this devil, chainsaws out, covered in blood, intestines and gore all over him, and it's very cool. But Denji's being drawn and positioned and framed in a way that isn't very quote-unquote heroic, because he looked very minute in that one panel, then he looked very horrifying in the next. But in this panel, the one up on the screen, the final strike, he looks very heroic. He's doing this ultra powerful single strike pose in which he seemingly effortlessly kills a devil. So, like, I think Denji's writing and his positioning and his paneling is really interesting because Fujimoto easily could have, maybe that's why Fujimoto didn't give him the basic arm chainsaw pose. Just because he wanted to draw him in a different frame or a different position or, he didn't want to just confine Denji to being the guy who's drawn like this. He kind of wants to open that up. Because I don't remember a whole lot of panels of Chainsaw Man Part 1 where Denji's this tiny little detail and then he's the main focus. I remember plenty of horrifying shots or horrifying panels, like never any of him inside of a devil, guts covering him and shit. The only one I can think of is when he fights the Bat Devil originally in Part 1, and after the fight him and Power on like a pile of intestines. That's the most I can think. So Fujimoto is definitely, in my opinion, getting better with his paneling, his positioning, his framing, his quote-unquote camera work. I had to put quotes because it's not an actual camera. But the way that the camera would work if this was a movie or a TV show. So yeah, this will be interesting to go from because now Denji is actually a player. I don't know if this is going to be Denji taking the focus for the series now, and we finally get to see stuff from his point of view, or if we're going to go back to Asa after this, because this could be a very interesting thing where now we know Denji's background. We know what he had to go through. We know his experiences. This could be very interesting if Fujimoto wants to be like, okay, you know what Denji is, you know what he's gone through and all that. Now we're going to look at Asa, who doesn't know that, and we're going to see how she reacts to him, which could be a very interesting dynamic that they have. But yeah, that's been my thoughts on Chainsaw Man Chapter 102, Save the Cat. Really like the art. It's nice to have Chainsaw back. Even though it was a 1-week break, it's really nice. I decided to do single videos this week because Chainsaw Man is a series where I have to talk about it immediately because of everything that happens. Like, the fact that so much stuff happens in a Chainsaw chapter, and I'm afraid that any of my thoughts are going to get lost or confused or anything. And I also enjoy scrolling on Twitter, and I don't like being on Twitter or any other social media when a chapter is out and I haven't made a review on it. So, Chainsaw 102, One Piece 1057. I'm not going to go on Twitter that much before I make a review. I'm always like that, even with Berserk, which if I think correctly, the video for that should have already come out before this one, even though I'm recording this video first. Whatever. But I hope you enjoyed this video. If you're new, make sure to hit the like button. Subscribe if you're new. If you like the video, hit the like button. If there's anything that I missed, anything that you want to note, anything particular, comment on the video itself. Make sure to put a comment in the comment section. Easiest way for me to see feedback, because I read them all. I don't reply to them all, but I do read them. And until next time, stay safe, have fun, and read more manga. Okay, guys. Bye.